Hi, I'm Adaline from Bonney Lake, Franklin, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a 10-minute table runner with supplies from our store. This table runner will be available as a kit, which you can purchase from our store. Our fabric department is filled with fabrics of all designs and textures, high-quality tools, and expert staff who can help you with any of your fabric needs. This table runner is a great project for anyone who is new to sewing, somebody who is dusting off their old sewing machine and getting back into practice, or those who simply want an easily customizable table runner. Today I'm going to be using two beautiful sunflower fabrics to make a Thanksgiving-themed table runner. However, you can pick any two fabrics that you would like to customize your table runner to the season or style you'd prefer. For this project, you will need 1/3 yard of the center fabric, 1/3 yard of fusible fleece, 1/2 yard of the backing fabric, plus rotary cutter, fabric scissors, pins, straight edge, iron, and a sewing machine, of course. First, you'll need to wash, dry, and iron all of your fabric. Then we're going to cut it. So the center piece is going to be cut down to 10 inches, as well as the fusible fleece. And then the backing piece will be cut down to 18 inches wide. First, I'm going to cut my center fabric. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off one of these stripes on here. Taking my straight edge, cutting right along that dark edge. Then I'm going to measure out a section that is 10 inches wide and cut off the remaining, including the other dark edge. Then I need to center this dark line in the middle, and this specific fabric has a bit of text here on the bottom opposite the selvage edge. So to center, I'm going to fold it in half, splitting this dark part, straighten it out, and cut off all the excess. It's okay to include the original selvage edge and even a little bit on this side because this center fabric will be covered in the corners. Next, I'm going to cut an 18-inch section of my back piece of fabric. For this one, I folded it in half to make a little bit of a quicker process of the cutting. Then I need to match the length of this one to the shorter center fabric. So I'm going to measure this first one. I believe it should be about 39 inches. So then I'll cut this larger piece down to 39 inches. First, I'm going to take off these two selvage edges because you will see them. This piece is measuring about 41 inches long, so I'm going to trim off 2 inches so that it matches our center fabric. Next, to cut my fusible fleece, I'm going to lay my center fabric on top of it, and I'm just going to cut around it so that they are the same size. Then, for the fusible fleece, all I have to do is take the textured, not as soft side and lay that against the back of the center fabric and iron it together using the instructions that will come with the fusible fleece. Now we have our center fabric that is attached to the fusible fleece, and then we are going to lay that so the design part of each of our fabrics is touching. Line up the edges on the top. You're just lining up one of the long sides and I'm going to pin it in place because it is such a long edge that I want to make sure it remains straight all the way down. And then I am going to stitch along the side, the edge that I just pinned, 1/2 inch in. I'm doubling back on my starting and stopping points so that thread doesn't unravel. And as I go, just making sure that my edges stay nice and lined up and that I'm going in as much of a straight line as I can. Then once I'm done with that first side, I am going to repeat with the other one. So I'm going to line up the edge of my back fabric and pin it all the way down my center fabric. And you'll end up with a kind of tube, or one side is a little bit wider than the other. Alright, now I'm going to start stitching 1/2 inch in on the other side. Before I do anything else, I'm going to trim off some of these longer strings that are sticking out the side, because they have a habit of coming through the seams when we turn the fabric inside out. Next, I am going to be pressing this seam. I'm going to be pressing it away from the center. I'm not ironing these sides flat yet. I just want to make sure that this bulk lays down flat when I reverse the fabric. Now I'm going to reverse my fabrics. And then I am going to iron these sides flat, making sure that they are even on both sides. So for myself, I might even take a ruler and double check, but you can also eyeball it. Alright, now I'm going to iron these flat. Next, now that we have everything ironed flat, we are going to take one end and fold it so that the center is facing out. I want to make sure all our edges are pretty straight, and then we're going to run a 1/2 inch seam all along here. Then I'm going to repeat and do the same thing on the other side. Forgot to mention this part before, but before you stitch, if your ends are a little uneven on the shorter side, you can trim them so that they're straight all the way across. First, we're going to lay this down flat, and we're going to press this seam to the side. If you don't have the fusible fleece or any kind of interfacing, you might be able to split your seam, but with the fleece it's a little bit thicker, so I tend to just press it off to one side. Then I'm repeating, doing the same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to trim just a little bit of this corner to relieve some of the strain and reverse it. when I'm cutting the edge, I'm going for just a little bit so that when I turn it inside out, you'll be able to have more of a defined point. And doing this on both ends. Then I'm going to reverse the points. Make sure the fabric gets pressed all the way up. And then I'll iron the flat. Once you have centered your point and all your edges, then go ahead and give it a good press so it lays down flat. Alright, now at this point you have quite a few options for securing this corner piece. You can put a little button and attach it to the back, or just sew a button straight through both pieces. You can stitch an edge around this whole triangle end, or any other way of fastening that you would like. For my table runner, I'm going to go ahead and stitch an 1/8 inch seam around the whole corner. That way when I wash it and everything, it'll stay nice and flat and I won't have to do as much ironing later on. Then I'll repeat that on the other side. Now that I've finished my stitching and cut off all my extra thread, I am done with my 10-minute table runner. If you wanted to, you could add some extra stitching along the borders or any embellishments that you wanted to make it especially yours. I hope you have lots of fun making this 10-minute table runner. If you are interested, the kit is available in our store as well as supplies for so many other projects. If you want to watch more tutorials from our store, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bfranklincrafts. Most recently, I did a tutorial for how to make a simple pleated mask. Thanks for watching and have a great day.